Hey everybody, it's Neekap here, and today we're going to be talking about Diablo Immortal. We're going to be watching a video by Force Gaming called Diablo Immortal is extremely pay to win, and that's a real shame. I agree. So I'm just a noob Diablo Immortal player. I'm not high rank yet, so I'm going to try to get some opinions from this, see what's going on. You can see on the side here, there's all kinds of Diablo Immortal videos about why it's so bad. So let's take a look and see how
This
bad it
week, we're
is.
seeing the launch of Diablo Immortal, a built for mobile spin off recreation of Diablo 3. It's an entirely different game, of that we're sure, though the unmistakable DNA of Blizzard's 2011 hack and slash ARPG is still there. We've got most of the same classes
Yeah,
with the same
same
appearances
classes.
and many of the same abilities running on an engine that makes the game look more or less exactly like that of its predecessor.
Yeah, it's pretty much exactly like Diablo 3. From my limited knowledge of Diablo 3, looks the same to me.
But with a whole bunch of new stuff, a new world, new features, new mechanics, and new systems. Repackaged, reimagined, and
Oh, there's a lot of. Oh, this is a perfect pause. There's a lot of systems. All right, here's one of the systems. It's called spend money and progress much faster than everybody else. If you have the money to spend, especially if you spend this $100 right here on these nice, really nice gems over here.
with way more microtransactions than ever before. Although let's not forget, they tried. Diablo 3 launched with a real money auction house that let
I
players
remember
buy
this.
and sell in-game items for gold
I didn't even know
or
this
real
could be a
cash.
thing.
This feature was met with such backlash from the community that they removed it completely from the game shortly after launch. While Diablo Immortal
So that's true. There was a huge backlash on it, but what I always thought interesting was I had heard stuff. I had like um, one of my cousins and all his friends played Diablo 3 a lot, and I heard something about, and maybe it's just a rumor, I guess, but I heard something about the IRS or the government was going to make a law about if people made money playing a game, that the game company would have to send them tax forms for it, and that's maybe why the real reason why they got rid of it so quickly. But yeah, it was definitely hated by the players, so I'm sure that factored in at least somewhat.
Mortal doesn't have a real money auction house in form, it sure does in function, with multiple currencies that let you directly
Gems are the
pay
big one.
real money for power. I would say the game falls under the textbook definition of pay to win. You can
Yep.
spend money to make your
You
character
pay to win
stronger, giving you an
sure.
advantage over
Pay to
those
win
who
faster,
don't.
pay to
An
win
advantage
whatever.
in PvP, you'll have way more health and deal more damage, and in PvE, your better stats will let you push harder content. It's looking like months or even years ahead of free-to-play players. That's just not good.
So I don't know if he'll get into it here, but they said years, and there's some calculations. I don't know if the calculations are true or not, but they're definitely meme worthy. And there's a calculation saying it'll take like 10 years to get a max level character. So yeah, that's uh, 10 years. That's a lot.
But also, it's kind of par for the course
Especially for the generation of people playing this game. I mean, people are going to be in their 40s by the time that they max out a character here.
on the platform, because once again, Diablo Immortal is first and foremost a mobile game. It's just now coming to PC, as we learned a few weeks ago, but it's not a PC.
I don't think they should have released it on PC. I think if they just released it on mobile and focused their marketing and they probably did focus their marketing on like the Asian regions, if I could talk, and I think it would have went over a lot better. I think when you gave access to PC players who absolutely hate pay to win and are against it more than anything, yeah, I think that was big mistake by them. I know they were trying to make some people happy, and honestly, they should have just like waited to release this like with Diablo 4. So here PC gamers have Diablo 4, it doesn't have pay to win in it. And here mobile users, here's Diablo 3 or Diablo Immortal, pay for Diablo 4 for us. think that
game
would have
and
been
doesn't
smarter.
fall under the same parameters of expectations for the platform, for ARPGs in general, or for a Diablo game. It is Diablo in name, it is Diablo in appearance, but it is a money generator for phones in every other respect. And the advantage that Blizzard has this time around compared to Diablo 3's real money auction house is that they're probably not going to be met with the same level of backlash because this is a phone game. And I want to say this clearly up front here. If we're strictly talking about the game, the gameplay, the features, the things to do, Diablo Immortal looks and plays great for a phone game. I've said it before and I'll say it again. This is most certainly going to be one.
This game plays extremely well. I wish it had a little bit better controller support than it does. For like PC, you can play it on the controller, and there's like you can mess with your settings and make it a little bit better. But it plays really well. Like I said at the start, I'm not even max level yet, but like just doing the normal crap that you would do when you're leveling, it feels really nice.
One of the better, if not the best ARPGs on the mobile market.
Definitely.
All hands-on early impressions indicate this, and I've played it myself, and I thought it was pretty good, even as someone who never plays phone games. And if this just stayed as a phone game, doing phone game things, fine, like whatever. I dislike games on mobile, how they're monetized, and the type of methods they employ have rightfully so been called out as predatory, but that ship has sailed in a lot of ways. The mobile market is self-sustaining and growing, and it makes boatloads of money, and it's highly unlikely that it's ever going to go away. But
on that point, I think it was Asmongold. He did this graph. He loves graphs, and it was like concentric circles of people who care about pay to win or whatever, and like the circle of people who care about pay to win and are willing to do anything about it is like so small, and like the biggest circle is, or the biggest like slice of the circle pie would be people who don't give a crap at all, and that's just true. Unfortunately, it's here to stay. It's going to happen more, and just treasure games that don't have it while you can, because I mean, you're outnumbered.
because Diablo Immortal is now launching on PC as well, and fans of the franchise or of the ARPG genre are most likely going to hear about it and want to check it out, I felt like I had to make this video going over just how absurdly pay-to-win the game is in its current iteration. Things can change, of course. This is fluid. Maybe some exact details or numbers or percentages shift here or there, but the structure and the systems and how they're trying to get you to spend money that's currently in place. Let's just say that Diablo Immortal isn't straying far from the well-established path of maximum monetization that mobile games employ. So there have already been a handful of really great videos put out over the past several months detailing a lot of this stuff, coming from people who have played the game and have firsthand experience with the monetization. I will link those below, and I definitely suggest checking out the originals, but also I'll recap some of the more important stuff right here, right now. So there's a lot of basic, pretty much expected microtransactions in the game. There are two different types of currencies that you can purchase with real money, and you'll use these and spend them on a variety of things, like cosmetics for your character or materials that are used in the game's crafting. There's also a seasonal battle pass system. There's also a free as well as a paid track. Actually, two paid tracks. There's the Empowered Battle Pass, but for a little more money, you could get the Collector's Empowered Battle Pass. You can also buy services like the Boon of Plenty that gives you 30 days of bonus rewards like login rewards, inventory expansion, remote market access, and increased market trade slots. Also, and this one really gets me, after completing a dungeon run, they give you the options running on an engine that makes but for a little more money, you can services like the Boon of Plenty that gives you 30 days of bonus rewards like login rewards, inventory expansion, remote market access, and increased market trade slots. Also,
okay, so before we get to that one, if they just had a battle pass and it was like $5 or $10 or something, and they just had the Boon of Plenty and it was like $5, so let's say it's 10 and 5, $15. If they just had those two things, I think most people will be fine with it. But they don't, and those two things cost more than that. But I think this game is good enough that people would pay $15 a month to be like the best at it. That's like a subscription price, right? I think people would do that. But that's not the case. And then we're going to talk about something funnier now. I think what he's about to get into here.
And this one really gets me. After completing a dungeon run, they give you the option to spend $1 to gain plus 570% bonus extra value from your dungeon rewards.
So after every dungeon you do, you get like this new one, and each one has, so this one's 570% value, and the next one's like 500% value, and then it's like 400% value, and then eventually it's like 120% value, but it's like $20, and they just keep getting these, and these stay in your shop inventory or whatever, so you can buy these later on or whatever. And it's kind of crazy, you know. They just put these up after you finish the dungeon. Now I think they were popping up. Maybe on phone they pop up, but at least now you do have to click on a notification to go to the shop and look at them. So I guess that's a little bit better. But yeah, they're like, here, have this. Now this first one is actually really good value for $1. Like, legitimately, if you're going to play this game for like 100 hours, you might as well buy this one because it's really good. But they get worse and worse as you go.
This is just ridiculous. And all of this is really just scratching the surface of how bad the pay to win is in this game, especially for people who will play long term. So early on, there was this argument that Diablo Immortal wasn't actually going to be pay to win due to the fact that the offensive and defensive rating that you get from gear in the game are both capped at 10%. And since the most anyone could get was that 10% increase to damage or defense through these stats, it was something that non-paying players could technically catch up to without too much grinding.
That sounds
good. It was a reasonable threshold to hit as a free player. However, the issue lies in the fact that your power comes from more than just your offense and your defense rating.
What?
For one, there is the legendary gems.
Legendary
These will be slotted
gems?
into your
These are
gear
cool.
and reportedly can give up to a 50% additional increase to your life and damage per piece. So with 6 gear slots, that means that these gems will grant 300% more life and damage
300%?
to players
That's almost
who have
as much
them
value
maxed
as that
out.
first
This bonus
chest.
applies to your character across all content types in PvP and in PvE. Sounds like a good system. Legendary gems, let's do it. I want that increase. So how do you get legendary gems? Well, you get them in Elder Rifts. This is a system.
You get them with money. You can get them otherwise. But let's hear what he has to say about it.
Similar to Greater Rifts in Diablo 3. It's procedural content that has you fighting through hordes of enemies and clearing a boss for loot. The base percent chance of getting a legendary gem running an Elder Rift normally is infinitesimally small. It is just not going to happen 99.99%
did have it
of the
happen once
time.
for me,
You
though.
will not get a legendary gem
One
to
out of,
drop.
like, 5.
However, using
Lucky,
an
I
item
guess.
known as a crest, you can increase your chances. There are rare crests that can be acquired just by playing the game normally. Apparently, you'll get a few of these every day if you play on a fairly regular basis, and you will consume a rare crest at the start of an Elder Rift, and that will give you a few of these every day. If you
Okay, so rare crests are things that everybody can get. Free-to-play players, everybody can get these fairly easily. You do have to play a lot if you want to get a lot of them. Legendary crests are very hard to get. The best way to get them is with money right now. So it's easy. So it is easy to get, like, so this is 1-star legendary gem, 2-star legendary gem. It's easy to get these from it overall. My character's not even maxed yet, and I have full legendary gems free to play. So you can get these like lower ones. But watch this, legendary crest drop rates. You get a 1-star 75% of the time, so way more. The legendary crests are the ones that you can pay money for. And then if you put enough of them in, you can do it even more. And then you can even get like a 5 out of 5-star gem. And then, you know, obviously you don't even have access to those really as a free-to-play player. It's not even an option. It only goes up to 2-star. So that's kind of the big issue too. I don't know what the power gain is between 2-star and 5-star. Maybe he gets into that. But, you know, it's something.
you play on a fairly regular basis, and you will consume a rare crest at the start of an Elder Rift, and that will give you a 10% chance to get a legendary gem at the very end. However, if you're more interested in 100% guaranteed legendary gem drop, you can upgrade your Elder Rift using a legendary crest,
well, how do I get those?
Can be purchased with eternal orbs, which, surprise, surprise, have to be bought with real money. On top of that, even if you get lucky as a free player and
they
get a legendary gem drop using a rare crest or one of the very, very few legendary crests the game will occasionally give you. Gems also have star ratings. The more stars,
Let's see what he talks about
the
the star
stronger they
ratings.
are. And those free gems that you get from rare crests are capped at 2 stars. Getting a 5-star gem, which is the highest and strongest, really isn't going to happen as a free-to-play player. The chances are just way too small. Without spending money, you are not going to have access to the best gems on a reliable basis. But lucky for you, those eternal orbs used to purchase legendary crests to upgrade your rift and get a 100% gem chance drop are in unlimited supply in the game's cash shop. For about $100, you will get 45 legendary crests, so 45 guaranteed legendary gem drops. But even though you are certain to get a legendary gem, remember that there is still the star rating system that you'll be rolling the dice on, and you are hunting for those 5-star gems. That is the top, that is the strongest, the most stat-enhancing item. Lucky for you, again, the game has a pity system. If after 49 legendary crest-enhanced Elder Rift runs, you still have not gotten a 5-star gem, you are guaranteed on run number 50 to get one. But remember, that $100 that you spent could only give you 45 crests.
Wait,
what a shame.
So it's going to be another $100
to get past that 50 crest threshold needed to guarantee
I gotta spend a little bit more money.
Well,
I already spent $100.
Gem. And as if these legendary gems, which drastically increase your damage and health and are gated by a low % drop chance or guaranteed by spending money, but still made into a grind due to the star system, as if that wasn't enough, the gems themselves can also be upgraded. You will be feeding legendary gems into each other to increase their ranking, but also to level them up. And once at max level, a legendary gem can be used to awaken a piece of gear. Doing this adds sockets, letting you place additional gems in your legendary gems. So the gems have gems. And the higher star rating your legendary gem has, once leveled up and awakened in a piece of gear, the more sockets we have available. So the 5-star gems are going to have the most sockets, and in those sockets you will be placing additional legendary gems, which again, the more stars those have, the better your stats, which all wraps back around to the difficulty of obtaining 5-star gems in the first place. That's made a lot easier by spending loads of money. Now, those videos that I mentioned earlier do go into some further granular detail on the specific advantages that these gems, the awakening system, and the resonance systems all give to people who swipe, but the gist of it is you get a whole heck of a lot stronger. And the reason any of this really matters in the first place comes just down to the fact that as a free-to-play player, you will be significantly lagging behind anyone who spends money and not keeping up with those massive leaps in stats, those up to 300% bonuses and the extra bonuses from the awakening.
300%.
This also plays into you getting bonuses and cooldown reduction and increased damage to various skills. You're just going to be behind, and not keeping up with that means you're going to be outgeared and crushed in competitive PvP. It means you're going to lag behind severely in PvE progression. In fact, there will be content that without spending money, you'll just likely never ever see. But it's not just some money that you'll have to spend, it's loads of money. The current estimates from everything that I've seen is that you might have to spend upwards of 6 figures to max out all of your gems, awaken all of your gear, and then max out all of those slots in the awakened gear.
$100,000?
Figures, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's the issue that I have with Diablo Immortal.
Okay, so I live in the Midwest, and our cost of living isn't as high if you live in like a big city or on the coast or whatever. My house only costs $120,000. So basically, if I give Blizzard my house, they'll give me a max character. I think that's pretty fair.
And other free-to-play games that use systems like this. A little sidebar here, just because I thought it was worth mentioning. Diablo Immortal is already banned, will not be launching in the Netherlands and in Belgium.
That big of a deal.
Specifically
I guess there's ways to get around it.
Legislation
they just have to disclose the chances
and how it pertains to gambling.
Like that.
As far as I know, basically Blizzard would have to go through the process of admitting that their systems that they have in this are equivalent to gambling and going through the gambling regulations and registration or whatever of those countries, and they're just just not going to bother doing it. It's not worth the hassle, so they're just not going to launch Diablo Immortal in those countries. And when asked about this, Blizzard said that they will not be launching in those countries, quote, due to the current operating conditions in these countries.
I mean, that's operating
conditions.
It's
because of the loot
it's
boxes
regulated.
And the random
operating conditions are the regulations.
Anyways, to me, the biggest shame in all of this is that Blizzard could have gone in another direction here. They didn't have to heavily monetize player power.
I think they should have did
those who spend a ton of cash
$10 battle pass
over those
$5
because by all accounts, again, they have a good game on their hands, and this could have been a fantastic opportunity for mobile gamers to be exposed to a good game that wasn't loaded with ways to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I think the worst part about how these games are monetized also is that they tend to prey on the most dedicated fans, the players who enjoy the game the most and who play the game the most will eventually run up against this wall where they're presented with the option of grinding endlessly for months and years, just swiping that card. And since they play the game a lot, they're constantly going to be reminded of the advantages that swiping gives. They're going to see their friends get way more powerful. They're going to see the
There's going to be
leaderboards
some free-to-play players who are really strong,
who
but
has
it's going to
spent
be
money, or they'll be getting crushed in PvP
minority
by players who have as well. You know, free-to-play games need to make money. That is not lost on me. I'm not saying this game should be free and have no incentive to play. These things aren't developed on or for goodwill, but I think there's a better balance that can be struck than like what we're seeing here. It's just absurd. The extent and the amount of this game that they have attached to spending real money is just way over the line in my opinion, and it's not done in service of making the game experience better either. That really bothers me too. None of this makes the game better. Quite the opposite, actually. They make the game worse, setting up more resistance points and more roadblocks than they would have otherwise, specifically to get you to want to spend more money, and I just hate it. With all this in mind, I will just say, like most other free-to-play games like this, Diablo Immortal is almost certainly going to be best experienced just very casually. If you jump in and play for a bit here and there without taking it too seriously, without getting too heavily into the grind, it's most likely going to be a fun experience and probably won't cost you anything. And hey, I'm more than happy to pay some money for free-to-play games. If a developer makes something that I enjoy playing, I'm happy to spend $60 or $100. Sure, I think that's fair value for the entertainment that I got in my
for as many hours
to me, that is the best way to approach games like this. That's what I did with Lost Ark. So long as the PC gameplay experience holds up, maybe I will do it with Immortal as well. But if your intention is to play Diablo Immortal seriously, just be aware these games, and this one especially, is built to push and pressure you into spending, not just small reasonable amounts like $60 or $100, but absurd amounts of money. They're designed to get you hooked so that you're invested just enough to spend $100 on those gems.
They want you to get
seeing
hooked
that big boost
and then
you
have
got,
the sunk costs.
And again,
fallacy,
and again,
where you
there's
don't
a whole other element to all of this as well.
You already spent $1,000. Don't spend $1,000 more. And eventually, you're spending $100,000 if you have enough money. Enjoyable
PC ARPG that has yet to be seen, but we will be finding out later this week. I'm gonna jump in. I will check it out, and I will report back to you. Either way, though, if you intend to get invested in this game, well, now you know what you're up against when it comes to the monetization. It's a really strange thing because I get again that free-to-play games have to make money. I just don't think this is it. I don't think this is how you should do it.
Nope.
It's just a bit excessive. That's all. All right, that does it for me today. As always, thank you all so much for watching.
All right. So this is a really good video here. Force Gaming, once again. Really, really level-headed guy. Didn't go off the deep end or anything like that. I really enjoyed this video. I had looked at some of the other videos. They're a little bit more over the top. I really like this one. Didn't watch the whole thing. You know, this was pretty much a legit reaction here. I only watched a little bit of it to kind of see that he wasn't over the top. And yeah, really good video. Overall, give my thoughts a little bit on it. Again, I'm playing very casually. I'm having a lot of fun playing, honestly, but I'm not tempted to buy loot or anything like that because I'm only level like 44, 45 or something like that. And that's playing over the course of like 4 or 5 days. Like I'm just doing it really casually. But there's enough people who have played at the end game and played the heck out of the game, putting out videos, that if you're going to be super competitive or just a super competitive person, like I'm super competitive in World of Warcraft, but that's it. No other game really. Like, yeah, when I played Halo, I got up to the top rating in Halo 2. Not Halo 2, that as well, but like the new Halo Infinite, I got up to the top PvP rating or whatever, Onyx or whatever it was, and then kind of stopped playing. But so I am competitive, but this type of game I'm not. Like PoE, I barely play at all, but I'm not competitive in that either. I just kind of play for fun if I feel like grinding something or just feel like I like the gameplay of it. So if you can play like that, It's a fun game. Download it on your phone, whatever. Play it when you're going to the bathroom, whatever. But if you're gonna try to be a top player, be on the leaderboard, all that kind of stuff, then it might be a game you just want to avoid so you don't feel tempted to spend a bunch of money and stuff like that. I think going forward, the reality is, I mentioned this earlier, the people who hate pay to win more than anything are such a small circle, such a small number, that I don't think that you're not going to get everyone else on your side on that. But I think what you can do is to like normalize more like a 15, like the normal sub price, right? A sub price for WoW is $15 a month or whatever. That's kind of standard among things that have subs, $10 to $15. Even like your Netflixes and stuff like that, Disney Plus, all that. To pay that much per month, you're kind of a la carte choosing what you want to pay for in your life, right? So it's like, oh, I'm gonna have Netflix, Disney Plus, World of Warcraft, and then I really like Diablo, so that's gonna be my fourth thing. I'm spending $60 a month on entertainment. That's reasonable. But when you go way over that, when you have to spend $100 for those gems, maybe just buying that set of gems, doing a full rift, getting your full legendaries, maybe that's enough for you, but that's still $100 that you're putting into it. So I think what we should be trying to normalize is more of like a cap that we're okay with. Instead of saying no to anything, I think it's okay to say, hey, $15 a month or whatever is extremely reasonable for us to choose to pay for our entertainment. More than that, you start getting questionable in most people's eyes, because that's kind of where the price is set right now. And I think that's what we should be fighting for. I know people disagree with that. They say no money whatsoever, no store mounts, no skins, no nothing. I just think that's a losing battle. I don't like fighting losing battles. I like to fight battles that I can win, and I like to fight battles that are reasonable. And that's just me, though. I think that's what we should be pushing for, is reasonable things in games. Like, in my opinion, store mounts in World of Warcraft are reasonable. In my opinion, skins on League of Legends are reasonable. I think that stuff is just cosmetic and it's reasonable. For this kind of game, for a mobile game, I think we should be pushing, again, have a battle pass, maybe has more features, like the enhanced login reward feature or whatever. It's kind of like an aura or whatever. If you have that plus the battle pass for $15 a month, I think people accept that. You put legendary crests on that, and people get their legendary crests that way, more advantageous to buy it. I think that's the way you go about it. I think that's what we should be fighting for. But yeah, that's it for this one, guys. This is my first React video. So if you watch the whole thing, please go ahead, click subscribe, comment below, like below, whatever. Helps me out a lot. I'll have more content like this coming soon. And yeah, everybody have a good one.